Hey, how you doing? Welcome to this week's edition of the Backstage. I just came out of a newly added closet here in the Ridge Kids Theater. It looks pretty awesome if you ask me. And so for this week, for the Backstage, I want to talk about facility stuff in terms of upgrades or making things look nicer or things like that. And part of what I've said about the reason that the Backstage exists, what the purpose is, it's because we want to talk about the why behind the what. And you are a contributor to River Ridge Church, either financially or with your time. And for a lot of you, it's both. And so there's a lot, we're kind of in a season where there's a lot going on. There has been some things that have happened. There's some things that are happening in the future that have to do with how things look. And I want to explain to you why. What is the philosophy behind some of the changes that you are seeing? And what kind of sparked my mind this week on this is partially because we're doing a bunch of stuff right now, but partially there was an article in the paper this week about another church in town. And that church made a very costly upgrade. And some people thought it was a good idea, and some people thought it wasn't a good idea, and it was in the paper and that type of thing. And it kind of raised my mind. I want you to understand the philosophy behind all that we are doing. And so here's what we're going to do is we're going to tour a little bit. We're going to look at some things that have been done, some things that are upcoming, and talk about it. But I want to basically tell you this is why we do improvements to the facility in terms of the environments and what it looks like. And so I always try and put my mind in the framework or the eyes of somebody who is coming to River Ridge for the first time. And maybe they've been away from church for a long time, or they've never been, or whatever it is, but how do they view it? And when people come, we want to help them take next steps in their journey with God. We want them to see God, and we don't want them to see us or anything like that. We want them to see God and to take a step closer to God. And so environment is part of that. And so when a child comes in here or parents drop a child off in here, we want them to come in and go, I'm comfortable here. I feel at home here. This feels good and normal. We don't want to feel that this is weird, this is sterile. We don't want them seeing the walls and go, man, there's all this peeling paint. Why there's all these chairs stacked in the back? We want people to come in to each area, and we want that to draw them towards Christ. And so that's the philosophy behind the various ministry kind of spaces or environments. So let's take a quick tour, and we'll see some of what's going on around River Ridge right now. So are you ready? All right, let's go. Hey, I am back here in Studio 45. This is where 4th and 5th grade boys and girls are. So this is the girls' room here. You've actually probably seen this if you watched Backstage from a couple weeks ago. And then I'm going to come out here, and we're going to go in here. And this is the boys' room. And so this has been newly renovated. So it's looking great. We're not totally done back here. So out here, you'll see there's just kind of chairs and stuff put around. This is temporary. We will eventually finish that wall with a really cool look, and then this will be kind of a Studio 45 lobby. So neat stuff is happening here. You'll notice that there's some extra chairs here and extra chairs there. And actually, we're going to put that at the 2nd Avenue Center. We are redoing our room there, and we think a lot of this furniture will fit really nicely there. So this is the Studio 45 area. Let's go look somewhere else. All right, I'm in the lobby, and this has been one of my favorite kind of things to see people's reaction. So you can see the lobby behind me. I'm going to kind of pan, right, and you can see, and then you look and you go, something's different. What's different? Did you cut your hair? Did you shave your beard? No, not about me, about the lobby. People go, well, something's different, but I can't tell what's different. And so it was a very simple project, but there used to be a shelf that went all around at about, I don't know, probably 4 feet or so, and it was teal, I think, below that, and then tan above it. And so we took out that chair rail and then just extended the paint down. That's just kind of an updating of what's kind of in vogue and modern and so forth. So that's what happened here. And then I'm going to walk you down this way, and this will be kind of a twofer. So the other thing that happened, and this was earlier, but you see, and you may notice that there are some doors behind me right there. And so we added those as a measure of security, which is why that change was made. We took out the tree. And then you also notice that the walls are blue. So that was painted, obviously. But that is just a temporary thing. That one thing is going to happen here is we are going to decorate this like a cityscape. It's going to kind of have a Fayetteville sort of cool feel to it. And the reason is that when we have families that come and they check in here or they check in right there as first-time families, that their kids, we want their kids to be drawn down here and say, I don't know what's happening down there, but that looks fun. That looks awesome. I want to go down there because it can be very hard for a kid to come the very first time and wonder, where am I going? And so we want to make this as attractive, as much of a pull as we can for kids to come down this way. So that's going to happen here in this lobby over the coming months. I am outside the starting point room, and we're going to go in and have a look around. So there was a little bit done in here in terms of the wall behind me was painted, but you look at the furniture in here and you realize it looks a lot like kind of a basement with everybody's extra furniture. It's mismatched and all that kind of stuff. And so you can see over my shoulder there that there's a bunch of boxes stacked up. And so this room is in the process of an overhaul. And really, this is a place that people come for the first time. Discovering River is held in here. Women's Bible studies are held in here. People come and experience and come in this room. And it's just sort of disheveled. Looks like sort of rejected furniture from all over the place. And so we're super excited about what's going to happen in here as this furniture gets added, as we add some great stuff on the wall, just to give it a warm, welcoming feel, because we want people to feel comfortable in here, again, so they can take their next steps in their journey with God, that they can start their journey with God as they get involved in the church. So that's something that's going to happen in this room over the next month or so. We've made some orders, waiting for things to arrive. So very excited about what's going to happen here in the starting point room. Right behind me is the auditorium, and we're going to go in here and have a look. So I'm in here in the auditorium. There's Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hey.
There's Steve working the soundboard, getting ready to play some guitar tonight for worship practice. So there's going to be a change in here that some of you may notice and some of you may not, but we need to replace the sound system in here. And so that's going to happen over the next couple of months. It is one of the more expensive things that we're doing, but the fact is that our sound system is pretty far outdated, and soundboard is sort of on that place where it could break down on any given Sunday or any given week. Hasn't been replaced or upgraded or really added to in over 12 years. And you know, in the world of technology, that's an eternity. Does anybody have a 12-year-old cell phone? Steve, 12-year-old cell phone? Flip phone? Katie? Yeah, Katie was in diapers when cell phones came out. Just kidding. Yeah. Anyway, so, but that's something that's going to happen that I'm excited about, that won't necessarily be visually noticeable, but you'll notice in terms of sound. It'll also help us as we move towards having a live online service on Sunday morning. So that's something that's going to happen in here. Yeah, we're doing the backstage. There's Christy. She doesn't want to be in the backstage, but I'm moving from here to there. Woo! This is really fun. Hey, we're back here at the Ridge Kids Theater where we started, and I didn't give you a tour of the whole room the first time around, so I just want to do that real quickly so you can see the barn door style doors that were behind me, the walls and so forth. And here's something I think is super cool. So that's the front of the room, and it's got that wood paneling, and that matches the wood on the barn doors. So we go around and See the Ridge Kids kind of line and peaks there. So just pretty neat, I think. And one of the reasons this place looks so cool is a woman in our church, Joy, has been helping to kind of do some interior decorating recommendations and picking stuff, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. So appreciative of her and just people who use their gifts to build God's kingdom. So you may be wondering, how does this get paid for? All the stuff that we talked about. The short answer is your generosity pays for this. But a little bit more detailed answer is this, is when we do budgeting each year, what we do is we say this is how much we think will come in based on attendance and past giving and things like that. And then we budget for 95% of that in terms of expenses. So there's that 5% cushion. And then at the end of the year, whatever has come in over what we have budgeted, then we turn that around. We say, how can we use this into the future? And so sometimes we pay off some debt with that, but oftentimes we say, what needs to be done in terms of in the facility? And so sometimes it's a lot more than 5%, sometimes it's 4%, but whatever that number is, in terms of percent that's come in unexpected, not unexpected, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, we won't do a cut there. We'll just keep moving. But we take that and we say, how can we use that to do what God wants us to do here in the building? And so that's where this money comes from. We're not doing an extra campaign or anything like that. This comes because you are generous. And then the other thing that's kind of a part of this, that good time to talk about it, is that we recognize that sometimes things break from time to time. It could be an air conditioner unit on the ceiling. It could be a roof leak, things like that are what we would call major capital repairs. We actually budget for that each year, so we put about $1 per square foot away in order to cover those things when they come up, because we know they're going to come up. So that's how things work around here. If you ever have questions, I want you to ask them, because this place happens because you are a contributor, and I so appreciate your generosity, giving money, giving of your time, and just great things happen because of you. So thank you so much for that, and I'm going to go back into my closet. Go away. It's done. You can turn off the video. Go away. No, really, turn it off. I'm not coming back out again.